Hello everyone, Tina here. Welcome to PhotoPlay's YouTube channel and welcome to Tuesdays with Tina. My name's Tina and today I am super excited to share a project with you. We are going to be using a few new items from the Say It With Stamps collection and then a few old items. We're going to combine them to create a autumn inspired card. Today we're going to be using the Say It With Stamps Autumn Word Trio die set. I can't get enough of the die set. I've used this quite often this fall season. I love the scripty letters with the block letters, the lowercase block letters. I just think it creates a real fun sentiment. We'll be using this along with the Leaves Are Falling stencil set. This is a two-piece stencil set and we are going to glitter it up today. I've used this before, but I thought we'd change it up and do a little sparkle background with this set. And we're going to throw in some critters, some fall critters. This is the Say It With Stamps Acorn critter set. I love it. In fact, I've created a card using plaids, you can see here. Sometimes if I have extra images, I'll stick them on top of the stamp set. And I think I want to use this cute little guy. I think he's just adorable. And then there is a coordinating die set to go with the stamp set. So let's put everything aside. We're going to start by doing our stenciling because we want to give it a little bit of time to dry so we can finish our project. This is what it looks like. You get the leaves and then you get the veins. We're going to do this in two parts. I'm going to take some white cardstock and my craft mat. And I have pixie spray behind here, but I'm going to tape it down just to be on the safe side also. I'm going to tape it just above where the corner starts so we can get full coverage on this panel. This is a card front panel, so it measures 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. And so I want to make sure that the entire panel is covered. So even though we have pixie spray, I'm going to go ahead and tack this down so I know it's not going to shift. The colors that I'm going to be using today, I'm going to be using a red, a yellow, and a brown. And we'll start with our yellow, and I like to blotch my leaves because I like multicolored leaves. So we'll add 4 blotches here. That's the best thing about fall leaves is you get to mix and match colors. When I do this, I'd like to overlap onto my yellow and it creates a real pretty orange. We're going to darken it up with some brown. So that's our background. Now I'm doing this in 2 parts I mentioned. We're going to come back to this stencil, but in the meantime I'm going to wipe off the ink from the top portion of my stencil, leaving this on here. And I mentioned glitter. We're going to be using some glitter paste. This is going to soften the colors on here too. I'm just going to use a spatula and get a nice scoop in here. And then we're just going to cover each one of these leaves. I'm going to go ahead and put away my sparkle paste here. And then we get to lift off our stencil. I'm going to hold it down because we have that tape behind here. And I love, and this is going to dry this soft. Let me show you. You see how soft that looks? It's going to dry that way. I'm going to set this aside. If you have any sharp edges on the edges of your paper, you can just remove those with your hand. While our panel is drying, we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of stamping. For the acorn top and the acorn bottom, I'm using some colored cardstock. I'm using a craft color for the acorn bottom, and I'm going to stamp that with some black ink, like so. And then the top I'm going to stamp on some dark brown paper. And then we'll set these off to the side. We have the little critter here. We're going to go ahead and stamp this on some white cardstock. This is the critter we're going to be coloring in. And what's cute is the Acorn critters has the little paws that you can stamp with it. So we'll take I put both of those paws on one block. We're going to stamp these as well. Put my stamps off to the side. I'm going to zoom in. Coloring is going to be really simple. I will play a little music while I color. I mentioned coloring simple. These are the colors that we're going to be using. And when we're done coloring, I will get you back. Coloring is all done. Pretty quick and easy. I'm going to go ahead and take the coordinating dies. We'll just line them up and die cut each one of my elements out, along with our give thanks. I'm going to use some orange cardstock for our give thanks, and I'm going to die cut this out. I'm going to take some fun foam too, since I want a little bit of dimension. I'm going to take some black fun foam and die cut out my give thanks also. So I have a bit of die cutting to do when I'm done. I will be right back. Everything is die cut. My panel is nice and dry. Now I'm going to take the next stencil B, and we're going to line it up over our image here. I want to add some veins, but I only want to add it to the edges. Once I have it lined up here, I'm going to take my brown ink and my blending brush. Now I just want to go around the edges. I kind of want to create a halo effect because I'm thinking that it'll interfere with my sentiment and my critter. So if we just go around the edges, I'm thinking I can get away with the dark color on top. I think I need a little bit of a darker ink, so I'm going to grab a darker brown ink. And we'll go ahead and add a little darker color. Okay, now we get to do the reveal. And I love how soft this looks, really subtle. Let's put away our inks. Now what we're going to do is finish off our sentiment. I have my give thanks, and we have our little acorn. I'm going to bring in a brown marker and just do a little highlighting on the top of my acorn, like so. And then we can add a little bit of glue right on top here. We can add our little critter, and he is peeking out of that acorn perfectly. I'm going to go ahead and flip around his little paws, and we'll take some foam squares and put them a little close together, like so. Cute as that. Now I'm going to flip around my give thanks. You know, I think I want to, let's see. I think I'm going to add a little bit of brown to my give thanks. Let's bring back I went ahead and used my ink and added a little bit of brown to create a gradient with my give thanks. I think that's going to make it stand out a little bit better on my panel here. Let's take our card base. My card base is an A2 size card base. We're going to go ahead and add this panel to our card front, and we are going to load it up. I'm going to use my glue. This is just going to help secure it to my panel, and I know it's not going to lift up. After we have our panel adhered, we're going to flip around our critter. We'll add some foam tape behind here. I'm going to take my Give Thanks, and again I went ahead and ink blended some brown on the bottom, and then we have our die cut foam. I think that's a good spot. So that's going to be where our Give Thanks is. Now I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to clip away basically the top portion of our foam. I'm going to add some adhesive on the bottom, and then I can flip this around and I can just tack this down. Now if you wanted to skip this and just add some skinny pieces of foam adhesive, you can, but I think this is just as easy, especially when you have the coordinating die. So now I can flip this around. I know when I add this to my card base, I'm going to basically center my critter. When I add this to my card base, I know that my sentiment is secure, like so. We have our acorn top, and we're going to put this off to the side. Kind of do a little tucking with it. And I think the Give Thanks is getting drowned out. I went ahead and die cut out another one of my Give Thanks with the same brown cardstock that we used for the acorn. And I think my orange is just getting drowned out. So we're going to fix that by adding some brown. And so I'm going to take that dark ground espresso ink, and we're going to add a little color to the bottom of this. And then we're just going to tack this over our orange. And I think this gives this a little bit more visibility. I think my sentiment's a little more visible that way. I'm going to use some pearl drops, and I'm going to add a few pearls here and there. Just keeping it kind of subtle. And that finishes off my project today. A nice, fun, sparkly fall card. Thanks so much for joining me. I wish you a lovely day, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.